Trick Fenrir, the stream where everything is improv and the temporal prime directive doesn't matter, just like Jensen's Hollow programs. Fenrir is a tabletop role playing game using the Star Trek Adventures rule set. We're specifically set in the year 2410 aboard a Cerberus class that is following in the footsteps of the U.S.S. Ophion. You don't need to have really watched my old Ophion game to enjoy this one, but you'll probably catch a few references and subtle nods if you do. You can find the VODs for both Fenrir and Ophion on my YouTube and most of the popular podcast solutions. Today is a continuation of Session 6. We'll be doing some extensive starship combat, meaning that even I don't really know how it'll go. Just keep in mind that my goal here is not to TPK my players. I'm here to provide a meaningful challenge. Hopefully, if all goes well, we can use this VOD as a reference whenever people want to see how Starship Combat plays, because there's a lot of confusion and we get a lot of questions on the subreddit about it, so here's hoping. The last thing I have to say before we play the intro is that whatever support you can provide for the stream, whether it's a sub, follow, donation, bits, patron, whatever, it's all greatly appreciated. And whichever one of you keeps dropping the 15,000 bit bombs, I'm going to find you and thank you in person. It'll happen. But with that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and run the intro.
Arrow 1000 and Arrow 4000 on Twitch.
And we are back from the intro. And again, I don't know which one of you is doing the bits, but I'm going to find you eventually. Just make that known. But anyway, we are going to do something I do for all my tabletop games, and that is an opening monologue as read or prepared by the players. And for Star Trek Adventures, that means something like a captain's log. And tonight, that is going to fall to our newest player, Mr. Vassar. So Dag, if you could take it away.
Research Archive Log, Supplemental. My first mission aboard Fenrir, to rescue the Azeth survivors and return them to their own time, has become complicated. When we first approached the Class L world, the ship was confronted by two Maquis raiders rigged as drone ships operating out of a refinery in the planet's southern hemisphere. The planet itself has very little surface land that is surrounded to great extent by oceans of pure deuterium. After establishing contact with the refinery leadership, an away team was dispatched by shuttle to investigate whether or not the Azeth could be located within its walls. After some discussion with Lishka, the refinery's Ferengi operator, we were able to conduct scans of the surrounding area, looking for chronoton displacements. We found them offshore, 30,000 meters below the surface of the Deuterium Sea. Borrowing a submersible from the refinery operations, the away team descended to the depth only to discover the Azeth refugees trapped in some kind of crystalline cocoons. Scans of the cocoons revealed each body was surrounded by some form of cerebral fluid. Realizing the crystalline structure may have represented a new life form, Commander Rast made empathic contact with the creature. The Azeth were freed from their crystalline cocoons, but not the hold of the creature itself. To make matters worse, we received a hail from the refinery claiming they were under attack. I must believe the two events are connected. Since my existence is currently in danger, I recorded this log.
Very good. So, we are going to actually start in the submersible. So, as said, you all are currently 30,000 meters below the surface at the bottom of the sea floor. And last you knew, Rast was doing the whole like connection with the entity. But the rest of you are sort of looking at a crystalline structure. I just got to find, where is it? There it is. The rest of you are looking at a massive crystalline pillar, probably amethyst / azure in color. And within this crystalline pillar are a number of life forms and a sort of frozen mid-form. And they are the Azeth, the snake-like or lamia-like aliens you have come here to rescue. Now, since Rast has made contact with the entity, or whatever you care to call it at this point, The pillar has begun disgorging these occupants. Now, they're not like fully out of the crystal, but instead of being part of the pillar, they're now breaking off and becoming their own sort of miniature crystal pods, if that makes any sense. And it is also at this point that you all have begun to pick up chatter from the mining operation that's up on the surface. They have said something along the lines of, help, help, we're under attack. And that's where we're going to drop right back in. So all of you on the away team, you've got a situation developing. You have no idea what's going on in orbit, and take it away.
How many of these individuals can we fit into the submarine inside the crystal?
I would say it's going to be very tight, but you could get all of them.
All right, we're going to start gathering them up with the mining equipment of the sub.
Okay.
But as soon as the first one comes in, Rast looks over to his blue people here. It says, "Need you to start looking at a way to get them out of those crystals. We're going to keep loading them while you are experimenting."
Yes, sir. I would very much appreciate Lieutenant Alel's assistance in order to ensure that they, remain alive while we extract them.
Of course. My primary concern is the pressurization of the fluid inside of the crystals, and if we need to maintain that as we surface, if we're unable to decrystallize them.
Well, take the time to start experimenting with the very first one that comes in. You have until we gather them all up to make your determinations.
All right. And we are going to start with an extended task because, if, as a reminder, the Azeth the life signs were fading, and there was sort of a ticking time clock, as if the attack above wasn't enough of one. So for those who are new, an extended task works a little bit differently than a normal one. You're still going to be doing the same kind of rolling, but what matters is not the number of successes, basically you're rolling against a work track. You are working against a track, which is then modified further. But let's just go ahead and get into it. It'll make more sense once we start. So this extended task, as you can see by the little window I've popped up on screen, this is in particular going to be a difficulty 3 task to start off with. And the default task to get crystalline pods into the sub is going to be a fitness and a con. So what I would say is that one person can lead this and another person can assist, but only one other person can assist.
So the rescuing the Azeth is the fitness con.
Correct. And the other important thing I need to say here is that you have 6 intervals to complete this extended task before the Azeth start dying. Now, intervals are important because by default, unless you spend momentum otherwise, every single attempt takes 2 intervals. So, for example, if you were to roll now and you were to succeed, that's 2 intervals. What you can do is before the roll is made, is you can you can say that you're spending 1 momentum, and that interval will be halved. It'll only cost 1 interval.
Before we undertake the first roll, would it be possible for me to devote the 2 intervals it's going to require for them to bring the Azeth into the ship to use my mental repository to sort of contemplate the temporal displacement and how that might interact with the material inside the crystals, recalling the necessary information to try to extract them more easily?
I will certainly allow that, yeah.
Okay.
So while he's doing that, who's going to take the lead on this one?
Rast will take the lead on a fitness con roll.
Okay. And who would be assisting?
I have a 9-1, so probably not.
2. Matic, how you looking?
You're muted.
9-1.
What about the hologram?
The hologram also has a 9-1.
You kidding? It's Jensen again?
Jensen again.
Jensen
All
again,
right.
yeah.
All right. So
Get this
helm
going.
operation focus.
Yep.
Jesus.
No, actually, helm operation will not apply here because this is you literally using the equipment to bring them in, or
Uh-huh.
it's you going out in an EV suit and kind of just pushing them into the bay.
Okay. All right. Whew, okay. Um, have the
Do we
let's
want to
yeah,
spend?
let's
Do
go
we
ahead
want
and
to
use
spend the
one
two?
momentum.
Yeah. I think-
Okay,
don't we have
so
to-
one momentum to have the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah. And it's a difficulty 3?
Correct.
Shit. It's
Go,
not
Jensen.
going to be easy.
Go, Jensen.
All right, Jensen's got you an assist.
Jensen helped. Let's see. Can I use persuasion to persuade the crystals into the sub?
Unfortunately, no. They are not sentient beings in and of
Go to your
themselves.
crystals.
That's okay. It was worth trying.
All right, you get the
Oh
3 successes you
my
need.
Clutch,
Very nice.
clutch.
All right, so now we go into the extended task. Now, what you're going to do for me, Rast, is you're going to add 2 to your con score for 6 dice. I need you to roll me 6 challenge die, and the result of the challenge die is going to count against the work track. And
Okay.
like most things in this system, 5 or more work is something you want to see because that will lower the difficulty of the task. Okay, so right now you have 5 work done. There is a resistance of 1, so you are only doing 4 work. Now, there are options here. You can spend a momentum to reroll as many dice as you would like, or you could spend 1 momentum to do a flat 1 work additional. So it's really
And
just
if we
how...
get the 1 work additional, that'll lower the difficulty.
Correct. It will lower the difficulty to a 2.
All right, let's go ahead and spend a momentum to do that.
Alrighty. So you are able, based on your expertise, I would say, in the helm department, you're able to maneuver the submersible in such a way that those that go out into the deuterium sea are able to better reel in the pods, and the cargo hold of the submersible is filling up rather rapidly. So that is 5 work done. You have done 1 interval of time, and the difficulty has dropped to a 2. So, is at this point that you can simply try the task again, but before we do that, I am going to move to Mr. Lee Tobin. So, Lee, I'm curious, how are you approaching the pods? I know you said like you're calling upon your expertise, but how are you approaching them from a scientific or a medical perspective is what I'm interested in.
Well, I'd like to determine the interaction between the, I believe that the pods were extracting bioenergy from the inhabitants.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to recall the chronometric readings of the Azaz brains to see if there was some kind of interaction between the way in which this life form was extracting energy from them and the chronometric energy that sort of suffuses their brains.
Okay. With that, I will give you an advantage. So this was initially going to be a difficulty 4, but with that, I'll lower it to a 3. This is going to be a insight and medicine, and Alel can, of course, assist.
I will do that.
Okay. Does anyone mind if I use a momentum to purchase an extra die?
Good.
Go ahead.
Can I use
So
cryogenics focus?
Yeah, I would say that this is a similar principle.
reason medicine,
Insight medicine.
insight medicine.
Would I also be able to assist with a xenobiology focus?
Yeah, I would allow it. But I would say with 3 people on the task, I will increase the complication to an 18 to 20.
Your call.
How confident are you two? Like,
I think,
Insight is not
Tobin
my
and
strength.
LL could do it.
Come on,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, it's RNG, so let's go.
All right.
To boldly go.
Focus.
All right, so you got an assist from Alel. You unfortunately only got the 1 assist on Lee Tobin. So yeah, I would say Dag, if Vassar does not assist here, they're not going to gain any insight. And looking at the rolls here, I would say, yeah, if Vassar did assist and did succeed, you would pass, but there's still that complication on Lee's side if you choose to assist. Or not exist, assist.
It's up
You're
to you, man.
muted.
Insight medicine, 1d20 with applicable focus.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this is
Oh.
important because not only is that a total of 4 successes, but you are able to get a momentum. And with that, you can give me that 1 momentum and 1 threat, and we can ignore the complication.
Yes.
All right.
Nice.
It's better than giving me 2 threat.
That's
With
good.
our
We're gonna-
powers combined.
We're gonna go into the starship.
Or
How
we
that
could
went?
just take the
No
complication
momentum.
and see what happens.
That's another option.
And then we get momentum.
Mm-hmm.
I'll defer to you guys. What do you think we should do?
I think we get rid of we don't get the complication.
Let us negate the complication.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So what you are able to discern, and I was going to make a handout for this, but I wasn't sure if you were going to wait to break them out or not, so my apologies for this not being a handout. But what you learn is that if you were to take a phaser or a cutting tool, you would cause the crystalline cocoon to shatter. You might also be able to do a specific like resonance frequency using sound, and this would obviously free the azeth inside. However, again, there's that connotation that the liquid is permeating the azeth on a subatomic level, which means that if you were to break them out without finding a cure, it's very likely that they could expire very rapidly. And what I would say with the additional focus on Lee Tobin, you have an inkling of how a cure might be devised. And it involves tagging the chronotons in such a way that a transporter could be used to beam the azeth out of the crystals. And this would be a very involved process, but this might be the safest way to do so.
How long do we think it's going to take us to actually amass all of the azeth and then return to the surface?
Well, that would be dependent on your extended task that you're doing.
Right.
So what I would say here is that each interval is approximately 15 minutes. So that means that unless you give me the momentum to reduce the interval, every single attempt is 30 minutes.
So we're not actually transporting them. We're using the transporter as a tool, or would we be actually beaming them out?
The submersible does not have a transporter. This is something that you would have to do either back on the shuttle or on the Fenrir itself.
Okay.
And again, this is just one idea that has occurred to Lee Tobin. It's not the end-all solution.
But the thing is that with the refinery under attack, how long is it going to take us to save the refinery? And are we going to have to be put into the position of save the refinery or save the azeth?
Mm-hmm.
We
I'm
are not
certain
the
that
only
our
ones here. The captain is in orbit and maybe protecting the refinery.
Maybe.
Well, on that note, let's do one more roll against this extended task, and then we'll go into orbit to see what's going on there. So again, Rast, if you're taking the lead on this, still a fitness con. Difficulty is a 2.
And here, have a threat so that we can lower the interval.
Okay. I will certainly take a threat.
And we also need that Jensen
All right.
wonderful assistance there.
He's due for a Jensen roll here now.
Yeah, he is.
There we go.
And unfortunately, no help from Jensen, but Rast doesn't need it. Gets the 2 successes he needs. So go ahead, Rast. Another 6 challenge die, please.
Alrighty.
All right, so that's 4 work with the resistance right now.
Go ahead and take another threat. And let's take it up to 5.
Very nice. So you are up to 10 work done. You are almost succeeded. You almost have 2/3 of the azeth sequestered away within the submersible cargo bay. And it is at this point that I'm going to do something you're not going to like. I'm going to spend 2 threat to re-raise the difficulty of the task. So this would have been a difficulty 1 with your last breakthrough. It's going to stay at 2. And the reason for that is because the sea around you is violently beginning to churn, and currents are beginning to whip back and forth, making getting the crystals inside a very hazardous process. So you have 4 intervals to complete this, and I'm going to let you think about how to proceed with that. Because we are going to go into space where a situation is rapidly developing. So we cut to the orbit of this currently unnamed planet, where the Fenrir is sort of dealing with a situation. That situation being that 2 freighters, approximately scale 3, have begun to approach the planet along with a Decora-class Ferengi Marauder. And if that wasn't bad enough, those 2 drone interceptors from before have interposed themselves between the Fenrir and the planet.
Great. So who's up here with me?
I believe Williams is.
Williams.
Sorry.
Company
Okay.
captain.
So they're not firing or anything, right? Are they?
They are not firing on you or the planet at the moment, but Williams would be able to tell that the freighters and the Decora are charging weapons.
Okay, shields up, please. If they're not already up.
Okay, shields go up.
So I'm guessing their goal is to just destroy our ship. Like, that's how they're acting. They're just coming after us.
It's hard to say.
Or can we do a sensor, like, see what they're up to?
Judging by the approach
weapons-wise?
vector, maybe they're just trying to block a standard orbit. Or force us out of orbit.
I would say, Williams, let's make this a roll. Do me a insight security, difficulty of 1.
All right, cool.
And let's have the ship assist. Let's have the ship assist with a sensor security.
I'll do it.
Cool. Let's see. Would say shipboard tactical systems or helm operations help me here to determine their intention from potential, tactical advantages from approaching the way they are?
Yeah, I'll give you it.
Ship always has a focus, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, total of 4 successes, which means you get 3 momentum. And yeah, Williams, what you said is pretty much the case. The freighters don't really seem to be concerned with you. They are focusing their targeting sensors onto the planet itself. As for the Decora class, the FMS Appraiser, it is charging weapons but has not targeted anything yet.
Captain, the freighters are targeting the planet's surface. The Marauder has yet to lock target.
Okay. Can we hail the Marauder?
Can indeed. So you hail the Marauder, and on screen appears the female Ferengi from before, the one that the away team had interfaced with. This is Lashika, and she says, "Ah, you must be the captain of the Fenrir. It is a pleasure to see you."
It's such a pleasure that you're charging your weapons.
Well, as the saying goes, you can't make a deal if you're dead.
Okay. What kind of deal do you want to make?
Oh, I was not saying... I can see where the confusion would be. There is a creature on this planet. We have dealt with it before. Apparently we did not exterminate it the first time. We would simply ask that you let us cleanse the area, and then we will rescue your away team, or whatever it is that we need to do.
What kind of creature is it?
It's some nuisance. Something that controls the seas. But rest assured, it will not get between me and my latinum.
If you have information, I might be able to help you.
Roll me a presence command, and if you've got diplomacy or negotiation or persuasion, I'll let that apply. I'm going to make this a difficulty of 2.
What was the focuses?
Diplomacy, negotiation, or persuasion, or you could try and sell me on one.
I don't think I have one.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, double
Oh.
complication.
Oh, she's gonna destroy us.
So, she kind of looks at you questioningly and narrows her eyes, and Lashika says, I'm a very shrewd businesswoman. I know when someone is lying to me. I will be blunt. You can rescue your away team, but if they are not out of my planet within the next 30 minutes, we will begin firing, and if your away team is caught in the crossfire, that is your problem, not mine. And before you can reply, she ends transmission.
Beep.
And the person sitting at the comm says, ma'am, all the freighters and the Decora class, they've all turned off communication. They're not responding to any attempts to get them back up on screen.
Okay, can we talk to our away team at all?
No, ma'am. They are still too deep within the ocean.
GM, is it
Okay.
possible for me to sort of gauge Lashika's threat to see if she is actually willing to kill Starfleet personnel?
Yeah.
Or if this is a bluff.
Why don't you go ahead and roll me an insight security? I will make this a difficulty of 3. And if you have anything like people reading or situational awareness or
I've got
one
interrogation.
Sure. It's a stretch, but I'll allow it.
All right. Perfect. All right.
Yeah, bail me out, please.
Sure. You don't need to be bailed out.
Yeah. I'm looking at 2 red zeros right now.
All right, cool. I'm gonna spend a point of momentum, an extra die.
All right.
We're gonna flat focus.
All right. So unfortunately, with 2 successes, it could go either way. You don't really have a full gauge of Lashika, but based on the charging of weapons and the amount of firepower they're already interposing themselves with, it's probably a distinct possibility that they're ready to defend their claim.
Or destroy it. They just want to destroy it.
Yeah, they want to. It's clear they want to kill this creature, whatever it is, but I mean, whether or not they'll kill our people to do it.
Can
No.
we disrupt their weapon systems?
That would involve actually firing upon them.
Okay. So
Maybe.
I want to fire on the interceptors because there's no people in them.
Okay. So just so you know, the moment you open fire, we will go into starship combat, just so you know.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Oh boy.
I don't want to talk. So
All right. So we'll have you fire first. And that is going to involve Mr. Williams. I need you to roll me a control security, please. If someone could get the ship's weapons security, the difficulty on this is a 2. All right, 1 success for Williams, which means I need to see an assist from the ship. Oh, unfortunately so. Williams, you try to lock onto the interceptors and fire out, but as the phasers charge up and fire, the interceptor suddenly banks off to the left. You weren't expecting it, and the phaser shot soars through the space where it used to be. But unfortunately, you have missed completely. And that is where we're going to start Starship Combat. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, we're going to cut back down to our lovely away team on the ocean floor. So back down here on the ocean, you have no idea, again, what's going on in orbit. As far as you're concerned, what's going on in orbit does not concern you at the moment, even though it really does. So out of character, you know you have 2 intervals before they start firing on the planet, so that might factor into your momentum spends here.
We've got a little pool built up, so go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's 4 intervals, right?
Yep. You are
Yeah.
at 4 intervals.
All right, so we're going to use one interval to one momentum to lower an interval again.
Okay.
Come on, Jensen.
Okay.
You can do it, man.
And as you're doing this, Jensen's saying, "Sir, I think exposure to all these chronotons, I may be coming down with a case of temporal narcosis."
Pull yourself together. We have no time for this.
Sir, with all due respect, if we don't do this right, time's the one thing we will have.
2 successes.
And so
from
are
Rust.
we using the mining equipment on the submersible for this, or is Jensen actually outside?
I think Jensen's probably actually outside.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
All right, so no help from Jensen. But with 2 successes, you know what you need to do here, Rast. You need to roll me at least 6 on these challenge die.
You know what? I'm going to spend a momentum to reroll 3 dice.
Reroll those.
All right.
And spend that last momentum to get up to the 6.
Which is enough to complete the extended task. And not a moment too soon, as you are beginning to pick up cross chatter on the submersible that the countermeasures against the creature are being prepared, and for all teams currently working in the ocean to return to base.
Okay, we're going to blow the ballasts and get this thing out of the water
Okay.
as quickly as possible.
So, this is going to require a control and a con. And actually, I'll make this a daring and a con. The difficulty here is a 2. And if you fail this, it will mean some damage to those on the away mission.
Would the Vassar be able to interface with the submersible to take in sensor readings of the ocean around us to plot a more efficient course to the surface? That would be safer.
Yeah, I would say you certainly can. I would say that you may assist with a reason and con. Actually, let's make this for you a reason science, because you're studying the ocean flows here.
And helm operations?
Helm
focus?
operations definitely applies here.
Okay.
Does theoretical physics apply here?
Deuterium underwater. Sure, why not?
Awesome. And it's target number 2. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go, Vassar.
I believe. All right, 3
Oh, so do I.
3 from Rast and 2 from Vassar. Very
Holy-
nice.
Oh, yes, momentum.
3 momentum.
Get them back.
Mhm.
We need that when we get back to orbit.
So Vassar, you're doing work. You're able to plot a significantly pleasant course compared to the eddies and whatnot you would have had to deal with initially. And we sort of cut to the surface of the ocean, and the submersible does one of those typical submarine breaches where it kind of goes up into the air a little bit and comes crashing back down onto the surface. And now
We
that
can
you're
hear somebody saying, "That's scaring them out of the ocean." from Hunt for Red October.
I know the reference. I've watched that movie so many times. But as you come to rest on the surface, what you realize very quickly are several things. The first, if you will recall, I did say that there was a violent storm that was already sort of ravaging the planet. If that was a Category 3 hurricane, you're now dealing with a Category 6. So the winds are tremendously higher than they were. And the actual motion of the waves, the pitch and eddy of the ocean, is such that you are literally going plus or minus 50 meters with every sort of dip and rise with the waves. But the good news is you can contact your ship.
And that's what we will do. Lee, can you contact the captain and fill her in on what's going on as Rast is just trying to keep the submarine steady?
Yes, sir. I'll inform her of the condition of the Azeth and our current situation. I will do so.
Okay. So back up on the Fenrir, there is the comm officer, who I'll name at some point, but the comm officer says, ma'am, we're getting a hail from the away team.
How much time has passed? since
Since
they were
the-
cut off from the Ferengi?
Probably about 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
Oh, great. Okay. Um. Yeah, on screen or audio, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, we've managed to secure the Azeth. However, they've been confined in some form of crystalline lattice structure, and, well, their lives are in jeopardy. We need to return to the ship as soon as possible in order to extract them.
Can we beam you from where you are? And how much room do you need?
Well, I would recommend that we be transported directly to the cargo bay if possible. You should also know that we rescued them from some kind of crystalline creature at the bottom of the ocean. It seems to have initiated telepathic contact with Commander Rast, and it doesn't appear to be directly hostile towards us. It released the Azeth almost immediately as soon as it realized that it was harming them. It does appear to have some kind of hostility towards the mining facility here. We
Mhm.
picked up a signal that suggested it might be attacking them.
Well, based on what I've learned, I would think that attack is going to go both ways fairly soon. So let's transport you and let's transport the Azeth to the cargo bay, if possible.
Okay. So, because Starship Combat has started, I'm going to offer you two potential options here. Part of Starship Combat is technically if you lower or raise shields, you cannot do so again in the same round. But what I'm going to offer you is this. You can either transport just your away team, and we'll do a transporter task for it. The difficulty on that would be a 3. Or you can keep your shields down for the entire round, and you can beam up both your away team and the Azeth in one go. The difficulty on that would be a 4. Obviously, the increased difficulty because you're beaming up so many of the Azeth, because there's 150 of them.
Yeah.
There might be a way for us to pull this off.
Which way?
Well, remember.
So I said
Fenrir's
shields were up, like at the start.
Yeah.
Was
Correct.
that okay?
That's like red alert, weapons charged, shields up.
Right.
Let's go.
Okay. So, and I fired, but we fired and missed.
Mm-hmm.
So in the combat turns, every ship around the planet has a turn.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But there may be a way for us to pull this off.
I'm
we
listening.
Do it right.
Okay.
We
Beam us up, keep the initiative, go to warp. I mean, it's
yeah. We may be able to throw them for a loop. If we can confuse the sensors on the Marauder and the freighters, they're the largest threat. Maybe make them think we've got a couple of extra ships coming in. They may turn to engage or defend, which might give us time to shoot into a low orbit and get them out of here. We can soak a little fire from the Maquis Raiders while we do it, and then we get the hell out of here.
Rast
crazy.
speaks up. Rast speaks up over the comms. We should not leave this sentient creature here. This is a first contact situation.
I absolutely agree, Captain. We can't let them kill whatever this creature is. We have to try to defend it. Might I suggest engaging the multi-vector assault node? 2 sections of the ship can defend the third while it transports us aboard. I'm no tactical officer. Commander Williams, do you think that's a feasible option?
It's viable. Alpha section can hold off the Raiders. Beta section can attempt to hold Raiders and the Ferengi Marauder, while Gamma section swoops in to do a close air evac. It's going to be tight, though, either way.
GM.
Yes.
Can we separate the ship after combat has started?
Yes, you can. It will just require it to be your turn. So let's go back to this screen where we actually see this space battle. And yeah, because of how initiative works in this, there would be at least one turn on the enemy side before you all could initiate multi-vector. But it is
Okay.
something you can do.
Okay, let's do that. I like that plan.
Okay. So
We
what
got
I would
two birds. Let's do it.
All right. So what I would say here is that, at least as I try to get every bit of initiative order so that the stream can see it, what I would say here is that the interceptor that you had fired at is going to get a turn, and then it'll be your turn. So the interceptor, we'll say interceptor A, is going to charge up its phaser cannons and will fire right back at you. So let's go ahead, and I get to push this button. Good news is apparently they have as poor aims as Williams does, and they miss completely.
Yeah, take that.
Okay.
And the good news is it is now your guys' turn.
Okay. So this ship, the Fenrir, can separate into 3 sections.
It can indeed.
So I say we take advantage of that and separate into 3. So we have 2, like, because you can fire from all 3.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Correct.
So let's separate. Wait, we need people to pilot them.
Well, that's the benefit of sort of multi-vector, is that you can control them from alpha section.
Okay. Okay. So let's do it.
Right.
Okay.
How are we doing this?
Yeah, that was my
And
next
roll 20.
question. So if you will look at Roll20, there is a handout that says what multi-vector assault mode requires. What this means is someone on the Fenrir is going to need to make a control and a con task with a difficulty of 2, and the ship will assist you with a computers and con.
Let's do it. Captain, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll do it.
We finally get to see the captain's piloting in action.
What we did before.
She does have an
She-
evasive action focus. Can I use that?
Or
not?
It's
Oh wait, we're separating.
Yeah, I would say you're separating, so...
Yeah. Okay, that's only one.
The Fenrir does assist you.
What's the difficulty?
2.
You got this. Come on. You got it.
1 now.
Okay.
Oh, thank God.
All right. So on your turn, the Fenrir, the top of the saucer section, disengages from the bottom part of the top part of the secondary hull, and as it pulls away, the secondary hull splits into 2, almost right down the middle, and the Fenrir, in the token sort of ability of the refitted Prometheus class, splits into the glorious multi-vector assault mode.
Yay.
And that is going to take your entire turn. You know what? I'll keep the regular Fenrir on screen in case we need to pull it. We'll just put it up here in the corner. But that is your entire turn.
Look,
Okay.
back up.
Right.
Yeah, here comes another
We just
one.
pulled a Power Rangers on them. Like,
A reverse
It's a
Voltron.
reverse, yeah.
yeah.
All right. So what's going to happen then is the interceptor, the other interceptor, B, is going to fire. It is specifically going to open fire on the alpha section.
Okay.
So let's see how the interceptor does. The interceptor will be able to hit the alpha section for a grand total of 3 damage to your shields.
Okay.
So the interceptor opens fire with its phaser cannons. The alpha section rocks a little bit, but your shields are holding.
Okay.
All right, I'll track the shields for Alpha.
Okay. And it is your turn again. You have 4 turns remaining in this round.
Okay. So we were gonna take one part of the ship and go into low orbit
Mm-hmm.
and drop shields and transport. Is there a specific area of the ship that we know is equipped to do that the best?
Definitely gamma section.
Okay. So Bree orders Gamma section to drop into low orbit. And then is that possible? Like, how much can I move?
That's
1, 2,
what I'm
3,
about to let you know.
Okay.
So you can move anywhere within medium range or 6 hexes
Okay.
for free. If you move anywhere beyond 6 hexes, it does require a power requirement of 1.
Okay. What's considered close enough orbit to pull this off? Is it
You would need to be within close range or 2 hexes of the planet.
okay? So we can move to. Is that? I can't.
Q13.
Yeah, 13. Can we move that there and?
You certainly may.
Okay.
Yeah, Captain, I'd recommend having Beta section accompany Gamma in to provide cover.
That leaves just us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other ships.
Just 5 other ships.
Well, I guess really like at a game, what I'm saying is if we move Beta up there too, Beta can sort of engage with either the appraiser or one of the freighters to draw fire. I guess. Don't know if I'm phrasing.
Well,
that
we'll have to
correctly.
drop shields on Gamma to transport, so drawing fire that direction probably isn't the best idea.
Maybe not.
What if we moved Beta somewhere they can't ignore it?
Well, if the Ferengi's aboard the Marauder, why not take a run at it? The other ships may move to assist. That she's in control here.
Okay. What do you guys think? Do you want cover for Gamma?
Eh.
Shit. Okay.
Welcome to captaining. Got to make the
yeah.
hard choices.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to move to. Is that Z12 with Beta?
So right about there?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Is that 7?
No, it was 6. I just measured from the far side of the token.
Okay.
All right. So Beta section is going to move closer up to the Decora class Marauder, and that is going to be the Beta section's turn. So we are going to go to the enemy's turn, and the enemies, the FMS Appraiser is going to see Beta section coming in. And the Decora class is going to do a scan for weakness, meaning it is trying to get a bead on your weak points. So I'll go ahead and roll that. They succeed. And Williams, you see kind of a blaring light on your tactical station. They have locked onto you and are going to open fire momentarily.
Yep. Captain, the Marauders acquired a target lock on Beta. It's a solid lock.
I guess we can't take evasive action, so shields are up.
Yep. And we cut back to your guys' turn.
So we're on Alpha. Is Gamma down by the planet?
No, but if you gave me 2 momentum, we could say that Gamma did move the same time as Beta.
Okay, I want to... Go ahead.
So I was going to say, Williams has quick to action. Does that apply in Starship Combat?
It does indeed.
Okay.
So if, without the momentum spend, if you want Gamma near the planet, Gamma can be near the planet.
I have a question for you, Mike. What does it take to get off the sub and back into the mining complex?
I would say that if you were to take the sub all the way back, it would maybe take about 30 minutes. But if you were to, say, transport up to the ship and then back down to the refinery, you could do it that way. That would be maybe a minute, if that.
Okay.
Okay. So I think we should pull people off the planet as quickly as possible. So I will say Fenrir, Gamma, move to the planet.
Okay.
We
So
should do
that'll
that.
be that. It's helm action. All right. And I'll be nice. And since there was confusion, I will let you keep your regular turn here. So what are you doing for your actual turn?
We're going to fire.
Okay.
Beta is going to fire on the appraiser.
Okay. So for this, since we don't have a PC available, did I? Of course I didn't, because why would I think ahead? What's going to happen here is we're just going to let a NPC handle the firing. And this is going to be, well, let me put it this way. An NPC could do the firing, and they would be rolling against a 13. Or Williams can do the firing, but there is going to be an increased difficulty because he has already fired with Alpha Section.
Still think I can do it.
Okay.
All right, so Williams, you're going to be rolling me another control and a security.
I like that. I still think I could do it. Miss again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, control security for you, ships assisting with weapons security, and the difficulty is a 3.
Cool. I'm going to spend a point of determination to activate my value and the threat, whatever it takes.
Okay, you start off with 2 free successes.
And
Oh, I did the whole shit.
Nope.
You can ignore that.
I did it for just the beta.
Yay.
let's
Excel.
try to generate some momentum here. I'll spend 1 for an extra die.
It would be 2 because the determination
Right.
does count as a 1 die.
Yeah. Cool. Let's spend it on that. Let's just spend all the momentums. Focus.
Nice.
So that is a total of 7 successes, which means you get 4 momentum. Very nice. And yeah, you may press the macro button, which will open up phaser fire. Firing for 7. All right. Now because you are firing phasers, you do have the versatile 2 effect, which means you can use 2 free momentum, not counting against your 5, to apply effects to it. And if you need a reminder about what you can do with combat momentum, there should be a Starship Momentum Spends handout. I would recommend personally spending the 2 momentum for 4 penetration.
Would it be worthwhile to spend one of them to re-roll those 4 zeros?
That could also be a good use of
I was
it.
actually thinking to do that, and then because it's 1 momentum for 2 penetration, right?
Correct.
So I'll buy an additional 2 penetration, and we'll re-roll 4 of those challenge dice.
Okay.
Let's go.
So unfortunately, you only get 2 more, so you're up to 9. And do you want to do anything with your actual momentum?
Let's spend another point for another 2 points of penetration.
Okay. So I believe you're at 4, Matic. You should be at 4.
Yeah.
Because the versatile 2 momentum isn't counted against yours. But yeah, with 4 penetration, piercing against the Marauder, why don't you describe your attack for me? Like, how are you having the beta section come in?
I'm going to bring the beta section in low towards the underside of Marauder.
Mm-hmm.
That'll provide a much larger targeting profile, as well. It will provide us with, hopefully a little bit of cover from their phaser arcs will just be exposed to their rather antiquated missile launchers.
Alrighty, yeah, and sure enough, as the beta section charges its phaser strips and open fire. Oh, right, I had music that was supposed to be playing. If this is too loud, let me know, either on stream or elsewhere. But yeah, you open up fire, you pierce through their shields a little bit, and go ahead and roll me a system hit, please, so we can see where on the Marauder has been hit.
Also, is this Star Trek Armada 2?
This is Armada 2 music.
Oh, God, I love this game. Engines.
So yes, not only are you able to get through the shields a little bit, but you are able to cause them momentary power loss. And what that means is not only do they lose some power, but they also have their turn reduced in this round. So that means they have effectively lost a turn. Very good shot.
Awesome.
All right, so up next, the converted freighter A, the freighter to the top of the planet, is going to begin firing a Nadion wave at the planet's surface. And the good news is that the Nadion wave does not even penetrate the atmosphere of the planet, but it's probably very clear that the freighters are trying to fire on the planet. And it is now your guys' turn again.
Okay. I think that Alpha is going to fire on freighter A.
Okay. Alpha firing again would be a 4 difficulty. Gamma
Well,
firing would
okay.
be a 3.
Oh, okay. Well, Gamma hasn't done its Gamma thing yet, so we'll do that.
Okay. As a GM sort of offer here, if you do the beam up with Gamma now, that would mean that your next action, the next turn, you would be able to let other people sort of contribute a little bit more.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
I like it.
All right.
And while the captain orders this, Williams is just going to calm down to the planet and say, Williams to away team, prepare for emergency transport.
All right. So this is going to require a control and an engineering. The ship will assist you with a sensors engineering. And remind me, do we have advanced sensors on you?
On Gamma section?
On the ship in general. No, it appears we do not have advanced sensors. All right, which means that this is going to be a difficulty of 4. And if you succeed, you get all the Azeth and all of the away team up onto Gamma section.
But who would be rolling that? Would it be an NPC?
That could either be a supporting character, or that could be one of the player characters.
Because my engineer Zines is aboard Gamma section.
Then let's have Zines do the roll here.
Okay. Captain, you want to roll for Zines?
Also,
There he is.
Rast is asking if there is any way that he can be instantly transported back to the mining facility.
I'll
Stand
say
by.
that part of this task is you could do that, yes.
Okay, what's the roll again?
It is a control and an engineering.
You might want to spend at least 1 momentum on that.
Yeah, if not 3.
3, yeah.
Yeah, I'd spend 3.
Is the ship going to be assisting in any way?
Yep, sensors engineering.
Cool. Let's go Gamma section.
So am I rolling 3d20?
You're gonna roll
Spending-
4d20 because we're gonna use 3 total momentum.
Mhm. All right.
Transporter theory focus.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Oh yeah. Okay.
There we go.
5
Nice.
successes, very nice, which
Whoa,
means you get
nice.
a momentum right
Woo.
back. So what happens is this: shields are lowered on Gamma section. A mass beam out occurs, and those of you on the submersible feel yourself dematerializing and rematerializing onto the Gamma section. Rast, the sensation actually persists longer for you, and you end up beaming back to the facility. And I have a very important question for you. Are you going to beam back to your shuttle at the facility? Are you going to be beaming into the middle of the facility? Like, where do you want to
Into
end
the
up?
facility, he's looking for a comms unit in the facility.
Okay. I will make a note of that. In fact, I'm just going to throw your token down so that we have you in initiative order. All right, we'll add turn there.
That was huge.
Yeah.
I swiped freighter A.
He's so buff.
Yeah, so buff. All right, so that is the Fenrir's turn, and what's
Okay.
going to happen is, at this point, Freighter B is going to open fire on the planet. So let's roll that. And this time, they are able to impact the planet with their Nadon wave, and the Nadons more or less begin to change the color of the planet. So where this wave hits the atmosphere and the ocean, it turns to an almost crimson hue. So it's changing from purple to crimson. And Rast, because you're still on the planet, when this wave hits, you are hit with just this overwhelming pulse of pain coming from the creature. And then it's your guys' turn again.
We talked to Rast at all? On the surface?
You can talk to him, yes.
Okay. Commander, what are you trying to do?
I have a plan, Captain.
Do you need assistance from us?
Just be ready in case the enemy decides to stand down.
All right. So, I don't think any of our ships are in position to fire on B.
Not at the moment, no.
Okay. So
Maybe we could move and then use a momentum spend to retain initiative.
Could do that.
how much momentum do we have left? I guess we haven't. We have one at least.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2.
Okay, so can we move Beta between B and the Ferengi ship?
You can indeed. It would be a difficulty 1 task to do so, but it is possible.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead and you can move the beta section where you want it. And this is an open invitation for anyone who wants to do the helm roll. It's a very simple difficulty 1. You are rolling a control and con, and the ship is assisting you with an engines con.
I don't think you want the science officers doing that, so...
I do have a helm officer on Gamma section. If you feel better rolling through my helm officer, she's a Gorn.
Nice.
That's Zash.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing for the ship. Sorry.
So, con and control, was it, or daring?
Control and con, yep.
Okay. With a focus of helm operations, 2d20.
Yeah, unfortunately, with that complication, what I'm going to say is that you are able to make the distance up, but you spend a lot of power doing it, maybe a little bit too much, and you're going to suffer a 2 power loss, which means you are down to 3 out of 6 power on beta section.
Okay.
Now, that is the turn. Are you going to retain the initiative with 2 momentum and do something else?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm gonna
what
do
are
that.
you doing?
I'm firing on Freighter B.
Okay. So, again, as long as it's not Williams doing the roll here, it is a difficulty 3, but if Williams does the roll, it is a difficulty of 4.
Okay.
I already got to press the shiny button. It's fine.
Yeah, let's have Dag do something here, because I feel bad for Dag that we've kind of gotten into a combat situation.
And Maddox spend the 2 momentum.
So let's see, is there a supporting character that Dag could do the rolling for?
Yeah, the scorpion person.
Let's see.
What was her name?
Alash?
Yeah, Ralash.
Yeah, I would say Relash or Savia Matic or Valik could be doing the rolling here, Dag, so it's really just whichever supporting character you like.
Felix of Vulcan.
I am not a Vulcan.
You're a Vulcan hologram.
But I will go. I'll go with Valek on that recommendation.
Alrighty.
Felix of Vulcan.
So that's going to be a control and a security at a difficulty of 3, and the beta section will assist you with a weapons and security.
Control
Yeah,
security.
I mean, and not to play devil's advocate, but you can give the GM a point of threat to roll an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
Would you recommend I give the GM a point of threat?
I would.
I always think that's we gotta
GM.
cap our limit.
GM, would you like a point of threat?
I would love a point of threat.
Here
And
is
what's
a
the-
specially wrapped point of threat just for you.
Thank
What
you.
is the ship roll?
Weapons security.
No focus for Valek.
This is technically an activation, so you could give him a focus if you wanted to.
But I already made the roll.
All right.
Complication.
Is a complication. So you're not going to like this, but with that complication, what happens is when the beta section goes to fire, something's going on with the power systems there.
Oh.
But the EPS conduits overload, and the Fenrir beta section loses not just 1, but it loses all of its power and is currently dead in the water. So that's a problem. Especially because now we come to the point in combat where I get to do a bunch of rolling. All right, we need to do Rast. Rast is in the initiative order. Make sure he's there. So I'm going to do all of the appraisers rolls, and then I will go to Rast, and then I'll wrap up the freighters. All right, so the FMS appraiser, the Decora class Ferengi Marauder, is going to see the beta section and see that it's dead in the water. So it instead is going to turn its attention to the shieldless Gamma section, and it is going to open fire. Actually, wait a second. Beta section it had locked phasers, or locked a scan on before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say it fires on Beta instead, which could be a problem.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see, checking the rolls here. I believe that is a success for them. Yes, that is a success for them. And it does a grand total of 7 damage. No, it does a total of 6 damage. What does Scan for Weakness do again? Again, I apologize, there's just a lot of moving parts here. Let's see.
Scan for weakness, just lower the difficulty on the attack roll.
No, I believe it has additional...
As piercing too.
That's what it is. It's for every effect they are ignored. Okay, so basically your resistance means nothing. And Beta section, you have 0 shields effectively right now because of your power loss. So you are going to be taking a grand total of 2 breaches from this effect. So what happens is the Decora sort of does an energy pulse, almost an EMP, and it causes the Beta section to begin sort of spinning side over side as this wave hits it. And I'm going to see who gets hit here. So engines, you have a breach to engines and a breach to structure. Now that breach to structure is important because I could end up injuring somebody on Beta section. I do not. So fortunately, you just take the 2 breaches, but that is the first turn for the Appraiser. The next turn for the Appraiser is it's going to spend its helm action to move up next to Gamma, or close to it anyway. And then the final action for the Appraiser is it will attempt to lock phasers onto the Gamma section. So it's rolling... it unfortunately does not lock phasers. So that is all of the Appraiser. Now, back down on the planet, Rast, you have beamed yourself to the facility. What you're seeing is that there are security guards running everywhere. The populace in general is trying to do its best to batten down the hatches, get into secure locations, things of that nature. Nobody really seems to care about you for the moment.
Yeah, I figured it was probably very chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
So he is going to look for some sort of comms unit.
Okay. There's, interspersed in the facility, just there's regular panels throughout.
Mm-hmm. He wants to try to send a message to the Appraiser from the mining colony.
Okay, and what is this message? Are you actually trying to get a hold of Lashika, or is this... Okay. Why don't you roll me a... Let's call this a control and a security to override the mining facility's security codes. I'm going to spend some threat to make this a difficulty of 2.
All right, I'll give you a threat to to get an extra die.
Okay.
And I don't think helm operations is going to help you here.
Yeah, unfortunately not.
Oh.
So you go up to the comm panel and you're trying to get it to contact the Appraiser, but
Actually, can I use determination?
You certainly can, yes.
And the value I'm going to call on is indebted to Captain Archuleta.
I will definitely say that it applies here, so you can reroll as many dice as you wish.
Guess how many I'm going to reroll?
All of them.
So it was... what was it again?
Control security.
Control security. Okay.
Yeah, so as I was saying, you go up to the panel and you're like trying to get it to call to literally anything, but the security panel just keeps locking you out, unfortunately. So you can try it the next round, but that is your action for this round. So
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That leaves the freighters. The freighter A is going to move closer to the planet, and then it is going to open fire with its Nadian wave again, and it does not succeed. So good news there. Freighter B is in an optimal position and is just going to fire back to back. So first roll does not succeed. Second roll does not succeed.
Nice.
So
That's
They can't hit a planet.
good.
That's awesome.
good.
yes, it's very good. All right, so what that means is we now reset to
Cotton ears,
the
just me.
top of round 2. Alrighty, so it is your guys' turn.
Gamma shields up.
Okay.
Well, wait, Ras is still down there.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
That shuttle.
Rast
Does-
also has a shuttle down there.
Yeah,
he
got a
does.
shuttlecraft.
Very true. Thank you. So how is everyone dispersed? Because you said other people can help, so I want to make sure.
I would say that in addition to the supporting characters, all of the PCs save Rast are on Gamma section right now.
Okay.
Well, obviously Williams and the captain are on Alpha, but everybody else is on Gamma.
Okay. Would anyone on Gamma like to roll something? Do something?
I'd like to suggest that we create an advantage, right,
Okay.
by attempting to create some kind of nadion scattering field in order to prevent the freighters from continuing their bombardment of the planet. I know it's not actually going to help us, but it will protect the creature. Would that be acceptable to everyone?
Yeah.
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 And
How's that?
I'd like to call on my value, first do no harm,
Mm-hmm.
because I want to try to save this creature. It's part of my ethical code as a former doctor.
I think that it would apply here. Let's have you do a daring and science or engineering. I'll let you do either.
Okay.
And the difficulty here will be a 4. However, if you succeed, what I would say is that as long as you give me at least 1 power around from Gamma section, the Nadion dispersal field will mean that the freighters cannot damage the planet.
So I'll go for daring science.
Okay?
Temporal mechanics, philosophy, subspace dynamics. No, that wouldn't apply. And it would cost me 2 threat to buy a 3rd die.
Yes.
Then I would like to do that if everyone's okay with that.
Sure.
So
Always.
no focus,
You want an assist?
please.
Yep.
Sar will assist with the Nadian scattering field.
Alrighty.
Well, I've got the 4 successes because I
Spent the momentum.
the determination.
And that's daring science.
Yep, daring science.
And I am down to no
Another success.
determination.
Very nice. So yeah, what I would say is you actually get a momentum from that. And with Visar and Tobin working together, a purple pulse pulses out of the deflector on Gamma section and envelops the planet in an energy field. It's not a very strong field, but it doesn't need to be because it is able to more or less make the freighters impossible to get the Nadion pulse from the freighters down to the planet, which is what matters. So again, it will cost 1 power, but as long as you're able to give me that 1 power, that field maintains.
Would someone like to inform the captain of what we've done here?
I think you just volunteered.
I will open a hailing frequency to Captain Archuleta.
Yeah. What's
Captain, Gamma
Mhm.
section has erected a Nadion scattering field to prevent the bombardment of the planet.
Well, that's excellent. That would keep them from the creature from taking any more damage. And also keep Rast safe as well.
It may also make us a bigger target once their sensors detect that as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update. Good work.
Excellent. Bizarre out.
Not bad.
Yeah. Now, would you guys like to retain the initiative? It would cost momentum and a threat.
Costly.
Don't do it.
Just says the guy who's not on the ship.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
Captain's prerogative. All right. What are you doing?
I want Beta's out, right?
Beta is completely without power until somebody on Beta section does a power management task.
Okay. Then I would like to fire on the Ferengi ship.
Okay. Alpha section, I'm assuming.
Alpha.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Williams, your time to shine again. Control security, assisted by the ship's weapons security.
2d20. Applicable focus.
Difficulty here is only a 2.
So that's 2 successes from moi.
1 success from the ship, which gets you a momentum. And yeah, let's have either Dag or Lee push the shiny button for this one.
Be my guest.
I will defer to you since I don't know where the shiny button is.
Okay, so Fenrir phasers, and we can add area to this, right? So we would be able to strike the 2
It would be MVAM phasers, but yes, you can add area to this.
So MVAM phasers.
All right. So you are firing for 3. Would you care to spend part of your bonus momentum to reroll those zeros?
Yes, I would like to spend 1 bonus momentum to reroll 4 of those challenge dice.
Okay.
So.
All right. So total of 6. Do you want to? What are you spending your other bonus momentum on?
Would that other bonus momentum apply to all 3 vessels, or just one of them if I bought piercing 2?
It would apply to all enemy vessels.
I think I would go for that then.
Okay. So, good news, bad news. Good news is with the... in fact, why don't we have Lee describe the phaser blast as it comes from the alpha section as I do the math here on the side.
Okay. The appraiser is closing in on section gamma, having already expended its last action to attack it. So the alpha section arcs around, cutting its way through the 2 interceptors, using its dorsal phaser arrays to attack them as it passes by, and then concentrates its forward firing arcs on the appraiser as it's passing by and levying fire against the gamma.
Okay. So with that, I'm going to actually give you the option of moving to here if you so wish. And I'll let that happen for free.
Where is that?
Right there.
Okay. Very good.
All right. But
Nose to nose.
the good news is that when you open fire on the interceptors, both interceptors are taken out of the fight completely. And they just sort of split into 2 and, you know, kind of do that beautiful Michael Bay effect where they explode in space. So the interceptors are down. That's the good news. The bad news is that when you attack the appraiser, you don't even get past their shields. And it's more important because on their turn, they are going to EMP pulse again. So this could be a problem for Gamma and Alpha. This could be a very big problem. So what they are going to do is, let's see. So Gamma, I have to count effects here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So Gamma, bad news. You lose 5 power, which means the Nadion dispersal field has dropped, or it will drop at the end of this round. And you also take a grand total of 6 damage to your shields, which is a breach. So let's roll that. All right, structure breach, which means I get to roll another challenge die. Good news, nobody injured from it. Bad news for Gamma, or not Gamma, Alpha. You also are going to lose all your power, and you are hit for 6 damage to your shields, which is a breach on you as well. So that is a grand total of another structure. Apparently, I really like rolling structure tonight. And, you know, par for the course, I have not injured anybody.
So all 3 of our sections are out of power.
Correct. Now, you can open fire without power, but it does increase the difficulty of all tasks that require a power cost. Now, this is usually where Matic would step in and, save the day. So, what are you doing, Matic? What are you doing?
I'm going to try to do power management on Gamma.
Okay.
Trying to remember how to do it. It's
It
I
is
know it's
either-
control engineering.
Well, it's either daring or control engineering at a difficulty of 2.
Right. I'm just trying to remember what tells me how many power I get back.
On
Is it
success,
just
you get
one?
1 point of power, and then 1 point of power for each momentum or threat spent.
Okay.
And it's also worth noting is with this power management, you can exceed your power cap. So all 3 sections have a limit of 6 power. If you gave me 6 threat, you would be able to bump Gamma to 7.
Oh, God. Yeah, he needs threat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give you 6 for 5 dice.
6 for 5 die. All right.
And then I'm assuming my power systems focus.
Oh,
applies.
yeah. No, Matic.
This is the one time it won't.
On top of that, I'm going to spend a point of determination to do nothing better than practical experience value.
Okay. What I would say here is as long as I don't see complications, I'm going to give you an additional bonus effect. But let's see what the roll is first. So that is 7 successes, which is a grand total of 5 momentum. And what I would say is that if you give me one of those 5 points, I will allow you to restore half the power to alpha or beta section, but not both.
Okay, so I need to see this. So 5 momentum, and then if I give you 1, I can restore half of one of them. So I'll give you 1 to restore half of. I'll give you to do half of beta. I'll give you 2 more momentum if I can create an advantage that allows the traffic already coming over the comm system from Gamma and Alpha to give them 1 to 2 points of power instead of half.
Okay. Now, to be clear here, it is half of whatever power you restore to Gamma. So how much power are you restoring on Gamma?
So Gamma, I'm going to try to restore as much as I can, still giving both Beta and Alpha 1 to 2 power to get shields and stuff back on.
Okay, so this would either be a cost of, in order to get Gamma all the way to full, that would be a total of 5 momentum or threat. So you have, because you're spending the advantage to hit Alpha and Beta with this, so you would have 2 momentum, so it would be a 2 momentum, 3 threat spend here to do this.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So, Matic, doing what you do, go ahead and describe how you get power back up on all 3 sections of the ship.
After being aboard Gamma, he'll immediately go down to the main engineering area. He begins trying to figure out how to save the Azith. He's been keeping a loose eye on power systems, just knowing how battles can go and how the Ferengi do like to fight every once in a while. He would have already put in a recursive system that kind of on shutdown caused reboot. Basically what it would have done is it would have overcharged the warp core to as soon as power would go out, just basically instead of using kindling to start a fire, he's using gasoline.
Okay. I will note that there will be an increased complication range, but with that description, you may Alpha and Beta can get an additional point of power. So that would mean beta's up to 4 and alpha's up to 4. Alrighty. So that is a significant change because had you not had power, you would not have shields. And what's going to happen is I'm spending some threat here to bring in another freighter craft as it emerges from the shadow of one of the moons. And its entire turn will be getting to the position there near beta. And then with my other threat, because I have so much of it, I would say that it is going to be not 1, not 2, but a total of 3 interceptors that are going to go for the beta section here. And let me just change their names real quick. Okay.
Question.
Answer.
Where we're currently at star chart wise, are we inside Federation space?
No, you are in a gray area where the Federation is like, hey, we kind of want to own this, but they don't have any bases or colonies out there.
And from everything we've seen, the Ferengi does own this planet.
Or claim to, anyway.
Ferengi has a claim to it, a legitimate enough claim.
More or less, yes.
Okay. Captain to Medic, Medic to Captain. English is hard.
Go ahead.
Captain, I just tried to restore power as best I can. I know that 2 of your officers have already stated their opinions. My opinion on the matter is we need to contact the appraiser or somehow let them know, get in touch with them. We need to regroup and return the Azeth to their line and complete our primary objective. At this point, whatever this crystalline entity is, we hold no claim over this planet or sector. As far as we know, this Ferengi has all that. Even if we save her, even if we save this thing, there's no telling if the Ferengi won't wait until we leave system to then kill it. At this point, we're wasting our time, we're wasting resources, and we are wasting manpower, and you are also, and in my opinion, putting the crew at unnecessary risk. If this thing needs to be sacrificed so we can complete our objective, then that's my suggestion.
Very powerful words from Matic.
So I agree with you, Commander, that this seems a little bit pointless, except for the fact that the crystalline structure is a sentient being, and we do have the XO on the planet trying to make contact with the Ferengi ship. So should his efforts prove ineffective, then I'll consider your suggestion.
Well, Captain, we've both been doing search and rescue. We both know that every once in a while we have to leave behind the ones that can't be saved. I'm not saying I could probably pull Rast back right now and we get the hell out of Dodge. But at this point, I'd say that the entity is not worth the risk of everything.
And I tell you what, to give the captain some time to weigh this moral dilemma, I think we're going to take our break here. So we are going to take a 10-minute break, and we will be back very shortly. So see you in a bit, stream. We are back. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. We are in a interesting situation where the players are having to weigh the fact of whether or not they rescue the Azeth, the people they originally came here to save, or if they go the extra mile and keep a planet-sized crystalline entity from being killed off by a Ferengi exploitation mining operation. And to jump back into things, as starship combat is appearing kind of not one-sided, but definitely weighing in the favor against the players. We're going to cut to the refinery on the planet, where Mr. Rast is currently trying his damnedest to getting a hail up to the FMS appraiser. So you can try that task again, Rast, where you are tapping into the comm system. But as was brought up during the break, you could also attempt to co-opt the fighter craft if you wanted to instead. And that would be more or less the same role. It's just that one is going to give you one result and one result will give you another.
He wants to get in contact with that Ferengi.
Okay, so I believe I said it was what, a daring security at a difficulty of 2?
Yes, and I will be challenging my value of the Prime Directive as a guideline for those who can't think for themselves.
Okay.
And daring security,
Mm-hmm.
did you say?
So you already start with the 2 free successes, and yes, daring security.
And I'll give you 1 threat for momentum.
Okay.
So 3 dice.
It would be 2 threat because the determination die counts as a roll 1.
All right, then 2 dice. And difficulty is what?
Difficulty is a 2, so you've already succeeded.
Oh, okay.
So you're trying to get momentum at this point. All right, so you get 3 momentum. And yes, you are able to contact the FMS appraiser.
All right, and what's her name again?
Lashika.
Lashika, I strongly suggest that you lower yourself to a neutral stance, as I now have 4 tricobalt devices planted all over your mining facility, and I will blow this facility sky high if you do not stand down.
Wow.
Let's have you roll a presence command.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make this a difficulty of 5. But if you succeed, Lashika will stand down.
And I will use those 3 momentum that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, that'll be good. And focus espionage?
I would say yes, because you would have to bluff the fact that you've snuck devices into the facility.
Well, I will also point out, as you notice, the gamma section of our spaceship did lower its shields long enough to transport me back down with those devices.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
That's a lot of successes, though. Oh, boy. Okay. 4 dice for 5 successes. Yeah, okay. It's worth a shot.
Crazier things have happened.
What?
So, with that,
Oh.
Lashika, you're talking to Lashika. Lashika just sort of, she says something off screen and you hear Vol's voice. It's not very distinct, but you hear Vol and Lashika talking, and Lashika finally comes back to you, Rast, and says, I've already said rule of acquisition number 125 today, but I will repeat it. You can't make a deal if you're dead. These tricobalt devices, if we stand down, you will remove them, yes?
Yes.
She says something off screen, and up in orbit, all of you detect that the freighters are standing down, the Decora class is standing down, and the interceptors are standing down.
What's going on? That's awesome.
Rast will say, I think my plan worked, Captain.
Well, now we got to convince them long enough. You have to figure out what we're going to do once they figure out that's not the truth.
I believe that there will be another way to address this situation.
Well
Also,
done.
maybe able to mock up some tricobalt devices. Matic, you in?
No.
No, I'm just thinking that when she comes back down here, I'll be like, yeah, they're already beamed out of here. You know,
Yeah, no, that's good.
that kind of deal.
We should assemble the ship.
Yes, let's do that.
So
Great.
fun fact,
suggestion.
because a section, well, multiple sections have taken a breach, you cannot rejoin the ship.
Hmm.
I have to go through and fix the ship, and then we can rejoin it.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
All of them.
all of them.
Mhm.
Okay.
To
And you're
start
on
there.
Gamma?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've got an engineer on Beta too.
Okay.
One of the supporting characters on there is a halfway competent engineer.
This is the captain of Matic.
Matic here.
So we need to do some repairs. Can you get your team to work on each section so we can rejoin the ship?
Yes, ma'am. I've already got teams on Beta and Alpha coordinated with Gamma. I'm about to head out and start repairs myself as well.
All right. Do you have an E ETA?
Let's say 2 hours.
More than that.
Saying
Should
2
have
hours.
asked the GM. What
So
the-
Maddox is
Give
like
me
the
an extended
completely
task and
opposite
let me
of Scotty.
fucking.
I would say
give me about 6 hours.
no. We're talking
No.
days, Matic. We're talking days.
Oh,
Give
me an
6
extended
hours for
task.
an ETA.
give me an extended task. You remember how I used to handle?
Yeah, I know how you handle extended tasks. You break them. So the answer is probably better part of a week, even with Matic Miracle working.
Wow.
How close are we to a starbase?
You could potentially just warp back to a starbase, but you would be in warp because each of the 3 sections does have its own warp core. You can get to a starbase and repair there, but it would be approximately a week's journey that way. So it's either you stay here and repair or you fly back the week and repair there.
Captain, can I suggest that we try to figure out the Azith situation as quick as possible? We do need to get them back on
in
the
the-
out of the crystals and then back on their side in their time.
Yes. Agreed. Lieutenant Commander Lee.
Captain, if I might interject before you give me my orders,
Sure.
you all do understand that we haven't actually resolved the situation here. As soon as we leave, the Ferengi are just going to kill this crystalline creature.
Yeah, the as of the ship is just like right at the edge of the sector. We can just take gamma section over there, leave Alpha and Beta here.
Mm-hmm.
In its current state, we can do
puts
that.
That puts us in a bit of a precarious situation. We'd be even more outnumbered and outgunned with two-thirds of a ship that's already damaged.
Well, whenever gamma section hits the rim of the system, I could put out a encrypted subspace message and see if we can get any assistance.
So
Could possibly hand the issue over to another starship.
So I'm going to spend some thread here because, Matic, the moment those words are out of your mouth, Williams, you detect an incoming warp signature.
Oh, shit.
Captain, we've got an incoming contact at the edge
Of
of
what?
the system.
Of what kind?
Can I identify it?
You can. Roll me an insight security, please. And the ship will assist you with a sensor security.
We're fucked.
Oh, I gotta count.
Oh, fuck.
So, Williams, it might be because you're having a terrible day. It might be just because the universe is, decided that now is the time to shit on you. You're pretty sure that's a Romulan warbird coming at you.
Why?
Can't really tell by the profile, but
Wait. Time-wise, has Romulus blown up yet or no?
did
It has.
anybody roll for the ship?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you could still succeed here.
and this is Alpha section?
Yeah. Should be
And it's-
sensors and security.
Save me. Hey.
Okay.
And Captain, can you send hologram down?
He has a name, Commander. Are you saying this on comms or what?
Yes, he says that on comms.
Sure, I'll send him down. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Basar, beam down to the entrance of the refinery.
Yes, Captain.
Just zip, zap down there.
Do we have enough energy on the ship to enable
You do.
transport?
You do.
Oh no, Gamma's fully charged, ready to go.
The whole ship goes. Bzzz.
So yeah,
So are we still detecting a warbird after that
Yeah,
roll?
Oh yeah, there's something coming your way.
So, can we succeed at cost for this? Maybe.
Yes, and I will say the success at a cost means that I mean, I would make a rock joke, but I think after the last 3 times, you would have removed every single rock from the ship. So
Got off like the
instead,
ceiling tiles.
instead of the ceiling tiles, instead of rocks, your console literally just displays a frowny face and then turns off.
But did I at least get the profile of the ship before it did?
No, unfortunately not.
Uh,
Huh.
boy, we can't get someone else involved in this like temporal issue.
This I didn't even know the consoles could do that. Like,
It's a safety feature that was put in 10 years ago to prevent people from pushing the wrong buttons.
No,
You
you know
pushed
what
the
it
wrong
is?
button.
You know what it is? It's for the pack leads. That's why it's there.
Mm.
That's the pack lid joke sabotage that always happens in a ship somehow.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Do we assume that everybody on the other ships is aware of Rast's bluff?
I would say at this point, yes.
So before Visar leads, he's going to download templates for the charges, the physical form of the charges that Rast has claimed to have,
Mm-hmm.
just in case a little holographic reconfiguring is needed.
Okay. I will say that since you have no momentum, if you give me 2 threat, you can take down additional mobile emitters that you could set up to be holographic charges.
No.
No. Okay.
Is the creature
That
still...
doesn't make them real,
There's
right?
already no, it doesn't make them real. I just figured that Rast would be sitting on one when they show up. It's like, just in case, it's insurance.
So the situation is Rast has convinced what's her name?
Lashika.
Ferengi.
Lashika. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
To stand down.
To stand down.
Mm-hmm.
There's an incoming Romulan warbird, and you know that, Williams, right? Did you see that?
GM, what did I see? Could it be a Dederidex?
It could be a Dederidex, yeah.
Yeah. I said, listen, before the console shorted, I don't know, but the forward profile is consistent with the Dederidex class warbird.
Well, the Romulan Republic is not hostile towards the Federation. The
Correct.
Romulan Empire is, but
As well as
Maybe they just detected a party and wanted
They
to
may
see
be
what's up.
They may be attempting to pick up a shipment of the deuterium.
Could the Ferengi know anything about why Romulans are showing up? Should we perhaps include her for a second and then kick her out of the call?
Add her to the group text, then,
I'm also interested in continuing the line of thought that we need to work on these Azeth in their ice cubes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're on Gamma section in the cargo bay.
Correct.
So we had a plan to use transporters to transport them out.
Correct.
And we have enough power to probably pull that off.
Correct.
Okay. Is our... what's it called? What beam was it that they were using to kill this?
Nadion.
Nadion.
Is that shield around the planet still that we made?
It is, yes.
Okay.
But the moment Gamma moves away, that's going to go away.
Right. Well, they're not firing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, can I check in with Lieutenant Commander Lee on any progress that's been made during this minute-long ordeal? Probably.
Yeah, you could check in, no problem.
Okay.
Actually, Captain, thank you for reminding me. I should actually head down to the cargo bay in order to ascertain the status of the AZA. I'm afraid that the excitement has distracted me from my duties. I apologize. I will head down to the cargo bay and I will contact sick bay to have them send several medical teams down, as well as science officers.
Good idea. And Matic, you're on Gamma, right?
Yes.
I would stay in contact with Lee so the transporters that process can be smooth. Do you guys want to RP that out? You doing that?
It's entirely up to you all. What I was going to suggest is we're going to cut momentarily to the refinery again.
Okay.
And Vasar, you have just beamed down to find Commander Rast working on like a wall panel that is in the middle of like a promenade, but there's nobody out and about right now. So it's literally just Rast in the middle of an abandoned street that's just kind of, tapping on a pad right now.
Hello, Commander Rast. Given that there was not enough time for you to beam down cobalt charges during the time the shields were dropped, I am assuming that you have bluffed.
Oh, yes.
To that end, I have downloaded holographic templates for a cobalt charge, should you need one present.
I am going to request that our Ferengi host give us a moment to potentially communicate with the entity and see if we cannot come to some sort of an accord.
And for what purpose do you need me in that matter?
I don't want to do it alone.
Understood.
And should something happen, I would need you to get me out of here.
I will follow your lead, sir.
So he is going to wait for the Ferengi first.
Okay. And, it doesn't really take that long before maybe 15, 30 minutes pass when both Vol and Lashika come walking down the street. They do have a security team with them, but you can tell that they're not about to start shooting when there could be tri-cobalt devices about. They maybe stop talking distance away from you, and Lashika says, "Well, Commander, oh, right, Ferengi. Well, Commander, it seems that we have reached an impasse. How do you suggest we proceed?"
He actually bows a little bit and says, "Mr. Slashika, I ask humbly that you give us the ability to spend a few moments speaking with your entity and see if we cannot reach a mutual understanding that would be beneficial to both yourself and the entity, and profitable for both as well."
I'm not going to require a roll for this because I think she would see the common sense in those words. She says, "Very well. You may do whatever it is with this entity."
I have been able to speak to it already. I am going to attempt to... where is it that you are getting your materials?
Well, from deposits within the ocean itself.
He laughs a little bit. Okay, very well. And he says, "Follow me." And he's going to head out towards the water.
Okay. So Entourage follows you outside. The waves have significantly died down. It's still sort of drizzling, but it's definitely not the hurricane force storm that it was before.
And he also requests that if Lashika can keep a comm open with him, he may have some questions.
Okay. That has been noted.
And the first thing he's going to ask Lashika is, Lashika, these deposits, are they just random?
As far as we can tell, yes.
And are they just on the floor of the ocean?
That is correct, yes.
Very well. He looks over to Vashar. He says, "I think they're mining poop."
Fascinating.
This could be quite interesting. If we can just... well, let's see if this works. He is going to go over to the edge of the water and see if he cannot reach out to the entity with his mind.
Sure. Roll me a control and command, please. Difficulty of 2.
Control, command,
Mm-hmm.
difficulty 2. I'd give you a threat, but no. What about focus of xenopsychology?
Most definitely, yes.
Whoa. Nice.
It's a rather specific focus, but it's come in handy several times in this campaign.
Mhm.
Good for an empath.
Those are the best.
Nice.
3 successes, you get a momentum. So you connect with the creature, the entity again, and I'm not going to try and actually do this in roleplay because it would take too long, but as a reminder, you're getting the sensations and thoughts in forms of pictures and feelings.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a dialogue there, but it's very basic, is what I would say.
Right. And his dialogue back to the creature,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to equally keep it as basic.
Okay.
He's going to give it like these feeling, express to it the best that he can, that he wishes to ease its pain.
Okay.
And if it could, basically he wants to try to discuss with the entity about making a litter box.
Okay. Roll me another control command. This time I'm going to spend my last threat to make this a difficulty of 3.
And I will give you a threat back.
Hey, I'm going to spend that threat immediately to increase the complication range to 19 to 20.
Bastard. All right. And is there any way that the hologram can support me?
Well, Visar, what would you have in mind?
With telepathic communication?
You were a Vulcan.
Ah,
I don't know
okay.
if there's anything that you can, help me with meditation. I don't know.
You do have an incredibly high medicine score, and as a Vulcan hologram, you would know that psilocybin production is responsible for telepathy in Betazoids and Vulcans, so you might hyperstimulate the production of that neurotransmitter.
Ooh.
I like it a lot. In fact, that is precisely how Dad can assist.
That was a super genius move. There.
That was
My
Yeah.
was sexy.
That was amazing, yes.
Given
breath away.
given that, I also have a focus on xenobiology.
Oh, yeah, that would apply.
Okay.
Wow.
So what's the roll?
Control and medicine.
Ooh, I only got 1.
But what I would say here is that because of the lovely description, as long as you succeed you succeed on your assist here, Visar, Rast can reroll 1 dice, but you have to succeed on your roll.
Well, I'm pushing submit now. Here's all the marbles.
You succeed. All right, so Rast, for all the marbles part 2.
Just roll a d20?
Yep.
What do I have to get?
You have to get below a 14.
All right.
You get an 11, which is just enough. So, Visar, you take a hypospray, you give him that injection, and the communication between the entity and Rast becomes actually more like a dialogue rather than a series of pictures and feelings. And the entity says something along the lines of, that you wish to consolidate waste? Where would you like me to put it?
He is going to describe an area that would be relatively easy to mine and out of the way. So like the entity could go there and leave there.
Mm-hmm.
And then potentially the Ferengi could just mine it without disturbing the creature.
And the creature takes all this information in and says, this can happen. Thank you for your assistance. And then it pulls away from your mind.
All right. I will open up a communication with Lashika.
Okay. I mean, she's been standing more or less next to you the entire time. She's like, so what did it say?
This area over here,
You
will
mean literally
find-
right next to the refinery?
yes, you will find this area rich with your deposits in the very near future, and it will continue to become rich with those deposits. You will not have any further issues with the entity, as it will just make these deposits in this area and cascade away.
And Lashika thinks about it and says, I believe there is another rule of acquisition that applies here. Rule of acquisition number 217. You can't free a fish from water. How do I know that you are not bluffing?
I will withhold any sort of reporting that we would be doing to Starfleet Command if you are willing to wait a few days to ensure that the deposits will be set in a very easy to mine area for you, and imagine the increase in your profits.
I do like profits quite well. Very well, you have 3 days.
Okay. I hope it poops more than once every 3 days.
That's the hope. Meanwhile, we cut back up to the bridge, and on the bridge, if anybody wants to be on the bridge, I can throw you on there at this point. But on the bridge, Williams, remember that ship I said that was coming in your direction?
Sure did.
It's now entering system.
Is it within visual range?
It is. Would you like to put it on the view screen?
Yeah, the inbound ship captain on main viewer, maximum magnification.
All right.
Thank you.
And what appears on screen is not what you were expecting. It is not, in fact, a Romulan warbird. It is one of Starfleet's own, more specifically a Tempest-class destroyer. And you are able to ping it and find out that it is titled the U.S.S. Nalor.
Starfleet contact U.S.S. Nalor? Which one? Second one?
Either's fine.
Okay. Nalor.
All right. So they pinged us.
If you do not ping them, they'll ping you.
Okay. Open a channel.
All right.
On
This is
screen.
open.
So you open up a channel, and appearing on the view screen is a very striking human-looking woman. And at first you think she's human, but the longer you look at her, the more you realize that something's going on, because not only does she have black sclera and glowing orange eyes, but her hair is literally almost like a cascade of midnight and fire that is changing the longer you look at it. But she is wearing a Starfleet uniform. She does hold the rank of a captain, and she immediately identifies herself and says, Captain Archuleta, this is Captain Sin of the U.S.S. Nalor. We're here to provide assistance.
Would I recognize her race?
Not offhand, no.
Okay. I'm not sure that entirely matters. So Bree doesn't know the situation on the surface.
Not yet.
So she's gonna say, "Man, I'm glad to see you." And how did you know we needed assistance?
Well, Maddox sent out a distress call. I'm here to save his ass again.
She's gonna pause for a second and be like, "Commander?" Just talking to you, Maddox.
I sent a distress call.
Are you asking this of Sin?
Yeah.
Okay. She turns her attention to you. Let me actually put you on the map here then. She sort of turns and smiles to you. And Maddox, you know who this is. This is your buddy Sin from the Arcadia days. And she says, yes, Maddox, you sent one approximately 1 hour ago. I could show you the logs and everything.
Maddox probably down in engineering working on something. And then he'll just kind of look and wait. Fuck.
Yeah, I think
Is
this
it
is a
sent
temporal
from?
problem. This is your problem, buddy. This isn't mine. This is all you.
Hey, come on, Sid. Just one more for old time's sake.
Nope, that is your problem. But Captain Archuleta, we are here to provide our peacekeeping force as much as you need us.
Very appreciated. We have a one of our crew on planet side at the refinery negotiating with the Ferengi ship. So right now, I appreciate your presence as merely a chest puff, puffing our chest up.
Very good.
Captain.
We are
Captain,
also on a sensitive mission, and I can't disclose anything further to you about that, but we may end up needing to leave at some point, and that's just how that's going to be.
Something I learned at a very early pace when it came to Matic is that whenever Matic goes on a ship, temporal things tend to follow. So I'm not even going to ask what's going on.
Oh, come on, Sin. Like, I mean, it's not that bad. Like, it's really not. Like, it's not something I did.
She just rolls her eyes and ends her side of the communication.
What? I did it. At this point, he's just talking to Kathy. He's like, I didn't do this one. Like, this is one that we're trying to fix thing. Like, oh well.
I know.
He'll just. I'm gonna go back to fix the shit and end his calm.
And as Matic turns off, Captain, you're getting a hail from Mr. Rast on the surface.
Go ahead.
We have reached an agreement with the Ferengi.
Oh. Well done.
I will explain. I will explain in more detail and more fully in my report.
All right. If everything's wrapped up there, then beam him up.
I will return with the shuttle, Captain.
Oh, very well.
Unless you wish to leave it here.
I want my shuttle.
Very
Please.
well. Lieutenant Commander Vassar, would you come with me?
You're muted.
Aye, sir.
Thank you.
All right. So,
and look, he called the hologram by name.
He did. So it's at this point that we're sort of wrapping up the session. So we're going to handle things in a narrative sense on my end. So long story short, you get the Fenrir repaired. The entity does uphold its word. It does end up taking what it was, you guessed correctly, its waste, and depositing it near the refinery. And something that Lashika particularly enjoys about this fact is that the waste is 10 times as valuable as the previous deposits were. So Lashika is thrilled with this arrangement. As far as Captain Sin and Matic are concerned, Sin would have probably invited Matic over for a drink, but whether or not Matic took that is his prerogative. But as far as the Azeth are concerned, you are able to essentially do the transporter thing where you lock onto the chronotons, use those as a baseline, beam them out, and you are able to put them into like medical comas so that you can put them back on their ship and get it going where it needs to go. But I think that's all the loose ends. Have I missed any?
Can Williams do one thing?
Sure.
I want Williams to place an anonymous call to whatever successor to the FCA is under Grand Nagus realm.
Okay.
And report this Wildcat installation.
And of course, the person on the other end is none other than Brunt, FCA. And Brunt says, "Very well, I will send someone out there immediately. You do know that since you offered this information freely, I'm not going to pay you any commission for it."
I understand.
Very
Williams
good.
Out.
And I think, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we're going to end today's session. So yeah, hopefully you all had a good time. That was an interesting way to end the Starship Combat. I was like, all right, so either this is going to pay off for Rast, or we're going to have to go back up to space and duke it out. So I always appreciate when players cut my combat short because combat's hard to run, and it does it's hard to watch when you're not involved. So always encourage it. But what I would say is that next week the captain will not be with us. She has other things on her docket. But that means we are still going to meet. we will just be doing a lower deck style episode. So if you're a fan of interpersonal RP, next episode is the episode for you. But this is where I'm going to end the stream. So anyone watching on Twitch, YouTube, etc., thank you for watching. I'm going to look into the Error 4000, see if that's something on my end. But again, thank you for watching, and see you later, stream. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.